No, no, that's wrong. Dixie Diamonds 298. Friday, 14/01/2000, Mets 9:06 a.m., Dixie 6:06 p.m. The ever-voracious journalism cycle had quickly pushed news of Brent Carter Brentsy's arrest, bond hearing, and release from jail off the front page of the world's newspapers. In the fortnight following the raid on Brentsy's home, news coverage about Brentsy had moved from Section A, where news stories with international importance were reported, to latter sections of the paper labeled B, C, and even D, where stories of less sensational local news were printed. This back section reported on Brentsy was adopted by most of Australia's print, television, and internet coverage, though Brisbane's The Courier Mail continued to provide broader and deeper coverage of advances the police were making concerning evidence gathering, along with the thrust and parry of Prosecutor V. Brentsy's intense defense team, as The Courier Mail had unofficially dubbed attorneys Madden Held, Robert William Wilson, and Richard J. Finch. On Friday the 14th, the Courier Mail placed a short paragraph at the bottom of the front page declaring that Brentsy's trial date had been set for the 4th of August, while further details concerning the vulture of theology had been printed on page A13. The information provided on A13 included that Brentsy's parents, Maxima and Minima, had arrived in Brisbane on the 5th of January via the Moxie, their 1998 Bombardier C-143A jet airplane. 7 News Brisbane's 6 p.m. newscast had opened with news that Brentsy's trial date had been set for 4/8. Though 7 News Scoop had been delivered with great bombast, they'd limited themselves to providing short clips of the SWAT raid on 13 Vulture, Brentsy's pretrial hearing, and previously reported snippets from prosecutor Patsy Volpe and lead defense attorney Madden Held. What neither 7 News nor the Courier Mail reported was that just prior to Maxima and Minima arriving in Brisbane on the Moxie, a skeleton crew had cast off from Edgewater, New Jersey's Grand Cove Marina and headed southward down the Atlantic coast in the Dorothy, the couple's Nordhaven 57 yacht. But as Balloony had periodically slipped into the devil's cauldron that was Brent Carter Brentsy's mind via his observation-only link capacity, Z not only knew that the Dorothy was en route, but also that it had an ETA of mid-February. Though Balloony found entering BCB's mind painful even at the most superficial of levels, Z's need to know convinced Za to again establish an observation-only link with Z's arch-nemesis, who shared a luxury seat within Brisbane's historic Treasury Hotel with his parents. Brent stood gazing down upon Brisbane while Max and Min, as his parents referred to one another, sat on opposite sides of a couch watching him look down on the residents of Brisbane. "When did you say that you'll be allowed back into the house, honey?" Minima asked, her New York accent discernible but not overwhelming. Slumping his shoulders as he inhaled deeply, then looking skyward as he exhaled in aspiration, Brent said, "When the police say I can. They're not particularly forthcoming." "Do you want me to talk to your Pedersen pal?" Maxima asked. "Maybe make a donation?" "No," Brent said, shaking his head, then turning 100 degrees and facing his parents. "Thank you, but no. A lack of motivation isn't the problem. Arnie can only do so much without risking an inquiry. I'm sure they've confiscated all of my records and Jane Ross capabilities. We just need to wait." "How are you doing sleep-wise?" he asked. Not good, not terrible," Max replied. "We went and saw Doc Dolphy right after we finally heard about your arrest when Jane Ross called. The situation was confusing as hell, but Min here said we might have to come see you, so we went and talked to Worrell. He hooked us up with a plan and some meds. A difference of 14 hours is killer, but anything for our baby boy, right, Min?" "Yeah, absolutely," Minima replied. "It'd be easier if it was 12 hours instead of 14, but it is what it is. You've been thinking about, maybe clicking your heels together 3 times while saying, 'There's no place like home'? Retreat? Throw in the towel?" Bensy moaned. "Admit defeat at the hands of the children of transported convicts?" he added angrily. I can't. I just can't let the riffraff beat me. I know that with your help I will win." "Good," Max said, nodding his head. "Good. That's a great attitude, but you know what I always say. Do unto others before they do unto you," Brent replied testily. "Well, that too, but in this case, I meant just because it's a knife fight don't mean you shouldn't pack some iron. Our backup plan is what?" If things seem destined for failure, I board the Dorothy while you two fly home on the Moxie. And, Max asks. Yes, Brent hissed as he looked skyward. If everything seems to be falling apart, I'll run with my tail between my legs. And when you're recovered, you'll be back dishing out way more than you're taking, honey, Minimus said in a conciliatory tone.